Welcome back.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Good. Yeah, you should have recorded what we were talking about
I
because
know, I know. I wanted to hit record when in the middle of what you were saying. I did so badly. I did so badly. Maybe we can bring back what we were just talking about.
maybe
Yeah, it
that's
I,
hard for me. I have that happen a lot where people say, "Oh, you said something really good. Can you say it again?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, that moment passed."
every experience is different. Every
Yeah.
experience is different. That was exactly what we were just talking about. I'll try to summarize it. I'll try to summarize it.
Right.
So before we hit record, I had described to you what I thought God was based on my interactions with
Yeah.
God in my dreams and um, through my prayer. And you had also asked me what he looked like, and I had told you I don't know because I don't directly look at God. It's a feeling, it's an energy, it's it's something that's beyond my comprehension. And then you went on to explain that different religions sometimes get offended by perspectives that may not deliver that same message that is delivered in the church. And I'll let you go on from there because you said everybody's experience is different. No snowflake is the same. No ayahuasca trip is the same. No journey is the same. No dream is the same.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that, and this is my belief that will be different than anyone else's belief, that God is a word used to describe the truest connection to your essence. And that appears very differently to other people. For some people, it's a deep feeling. For some people, it's a visual of a person. For some people, it's dreams. For some people, it's connection with Mother Nature or to individuals or a sense of euphoria. And for some, it's essence of love, right? But the the definition of God. It's I listened to a book called The Power of Now that I thought was really good, where he talks about honey. We talked about this on the last podcast, I think, too. But the word honey doesn't describe what honey is, right? You have to taste honey to know what it is.
Yeah.
And the word God will never accurately describe what God is or feels like to you. But what's different about honey versus God is honey will taste very similar to you and me, but God will feel very different to you and me.
Yeah.
And we try to standardize something physical, intangible, and translate that into the realm of the spiritual as if they correlate, and they don't. They just don't.
I love what you're saying. How long ago did you read Power of Now?
I've read it twice now.
Okay.
I listened to it again just a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So it's been fairly fresh on my mind.
Was that the one of the main purposes or what main points of the book, or was there what was the message that you took from that book?
The main message is to simply be present, acknowledge your presence.
Yeah.
And if you're having reactions to your if you're having reactions to your present moment, all you can do is accept it, change it, or leave it. And that's essentially it. And then it's very meditative as you
Yeah.
listen to it,
Yeah.
and it's this Q&A
Right.
situation where someone asks a question, then he responds. But it all comes back to the most powerful place you can be is the place that you are.
You're so right about that. I personally, in my experiences, I find that the most powerful with my children. And I understand that the person's name that I'm about to bring up is pretty controversial, but he does say something that's very, very important in my eyes, as Andrew Tate on the Patrick Bet David show had said. qu quantity of time with your children is no match for quality of time with your children because
Mhm.
this is somebody who's a very busy person. Whether you like it or not, he's doing a lot of different things at different times. So his time with his kids, I'm sure, is limited in comparison to even somebody like you or I, just being whatever kind of figure that guy is. And it's something that really hit home for me as well because I'm now in a situation where I see my kids on a schedule. And the time up to when I heard that and when I went to Costa Rica, it wasn't quality time. And I now understand that in that time that you have with your children, it's got to be powerful. And the more time you have, great, make it count. But for me personally, that what that means is we wake up early in the morning before the little one wakes up, who gets the most attention, and we go for a walk together and we talk about life. And we cover almost every subject that maybe a 9, 10-year-old kid knows.
Mm.
And we talk about it. And it's almost like it's meant to be by the times that each one of these kids wake up, because by the time we get back from our walk, then the little one will wake up,
Yeah.
and then it's time with that little one, and I, make her breakfast and hang out with her. She's 3 years old, so there's not a whole lot of deep conversation.
Yeah.
And by the time she's fed and good for the next hour, then the middle one wakes up,
Hmm.
and for her, it's a bike ride together, and we go out, we ride the bikes together, and then again, it's a conversation. And however deep a 7-year-old conversation can go, we explore each one of those corners of that room from bottom to top. We cover the floorboards and we hit the trim on the top,
Yeah.
and we paint the whole room.
Mm.
And the relationship that has now been developed is a relationship that is incredibly special to me.
Yeah. So of those relationships, which one is the most important?
They're all most important to me. I love each one of them. And I know the saying goes, I love my children the same. And you say that tongue in cheek. But in a way it's true, but it's in different ways.
Hmm.
And something that I learned when I was a general manager of a store was you have to wear your different hats depending on who you're talking to. And what I mean by that is the way that you and I interact with each other might be different than the way that I interact with, Rafi, who I had on my last episode, who is, a friend of mine from high school. And that doesn't mean that I'm being fake. That just means that maybe my delivery is going to be a little different because I would like to see I like to see everybody's perspective. And then I like to put myself in that perspective and try to understand it and form the conversation that way. So when you ask me the question, which one do I value the most? I value all of them the same, but in different ways.
Mm.
Yeah.
One thing I realized, especially while I was at Rhythmia, is the most important relationship is the one with yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're connected with yourself and you have a healthy relationship with yourself, then others, if they are aligned and they value that relationship, is that much stronger. And it compounds in a way that feels infinite.
Yeah.
And that to me is the transition between quality and quantity. What is the difference between quality time and quantity time? It's the relationship that you have with yourself and the presence that you can bring to that time
Yeah.
that transitions the difference. And the difference between quality time with yourself and quantity time with yourself and that in a group is the mutual merging, right? The mutual presence of, if it's with a child, the child has to bring that and you have to bring that both.
Yeah.
And that's quality. But if someone else is fully present and wants to have an amazing time and you want to have an amazing relationship with them, but you're not in tune with yourself, you're frustrated, you're angry, and you bring that into the situation, you can't fully be present, then it will simply be quantity.
Well, yes, it will.
Well, I have a question. Why do you think people get triggered when we talk about people
Yeah.
or religion
Mm.
or God? Because it's a topic that I've been thinking about a lot.
That's a really good question. And I actually kind of had this conversation with somebody a few days ago, not on camera, but we discuss the state of the world on social media, where sometimes it's hard to decipher whether someone or not is putting a comment online just to see how people react to it, and whether or not that's another country kind of trying to infiltrate America and argue with each other is a whole nother conversation. But um, I think I think the foundation of it is we allow words to impact so much of our feelings. And I was always told, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's something that my mother said to me since I was like 3 years old. And will admit, when I was, younger in high school, when I was, made fun of, or when I was told I was never good enough, it still hurt. It's still 100% hurt. No doubt, no doubt. But I always felt like confrontation was never worth it also. And I think a place where a lot of people need to go is to look into the mirror. I had somebody ask me last week, if you had more guidance in your 20s, would you have would you have been better? Would you not have done drugs? Would you have been healthier? And my reply to that was, because I'm looking inward all the time at this point. My reply to that was, I would have never accepted the guidance. And that's a big part.
Yeah.
Going back to your question, I I feel like a lot of people allow words, and words are just words. They're just noises that come out of our mouths. And if you're in another country that doesn't speak our language, they have no idea what you're actually saying. So would they get offended if you said something offensive towards them? Not if they don't know what it means. So I think we allow words to fly out of our mouths like they're bullets. And it's okay. Uh, it's okay not to get mad about something. It's a lot of wasted energy, and it's a lot of energy that we're putting out into the universe that is unnecessary. What's your opinion on it?
Oh man, I don't know. I asked the question purely from a
Curiosity.
curiosity
Yeah.
standpoint. I have a lot of thoughts
Yeah.
around it, but I do not know why people get triggered. Uh, I think it's a combination of a lot of things: culture, law, religion, perspective, ego is a huge one.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of that combined, plus more at
Right.
play. Uh, and all I do know is that people do get triggered in different ways.
Yep.
And it seems that when a reaction happens, that negative energy gets transferred to the person that caused the trigger. And then it's like this bouncy ball back and forth that the more the ping pong is sent back and forth, the faster it goes and the hotter it gets. And that negativity seems to compound. That's what I view. And
Yeah.
that's what I see. I don't know exactly why that happens, but that's what I notice. I was reading I actually think something you said was really good. Something about conflict. I think discussing your own opinions on things often is taken as conflict rather than understanding. I was reading a book. The most recent book I actually just finished was called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Great book. If you haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
And he's in Africa, and there are two African dudes who are talking about this lady who's a prostitute selling her body. And one was basically explaining why he thought that that was okay, and the other one was explaining why it wasn't. And they started getting in this heated, sounded like a debate. And Matthew, he jumps in there and says, hey, I side with this person. And they both turn to him and starts yelling at him. And they're
Right.
like, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about understanding. We are trying to understand each other. Let us understand.
Yeah.
And I think that is something in our culture, especially in America, that we lose out on is the truly trying to understand and listen and validate where they are at rather than debate and defend our position. And it seems like that history of feeling like we need to defend our views compared to others has translated into a very triggering society. But I don't know. I don't know exactly why.
Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
When was the last time you were triggered?
Hmm. Let me sit on that for a minute. I don't want to give you an off the shelf answer. I want to give you a real answer.
I want to think about it. I'll share mine with you,
Okay.
and then I'll share with you um, how I processed it since that point and where I am now. 2020 was a very stressful time for all of us. It's kind of fitting that 2020 is the year. You know, when you say that number, everybody knows. I was in Minnesota for the George Floyd riots, and I isolated a lot of my friends with my opinions, and it wasn't worth it. And I went on social media and I posted my opinions, and everyone has a right to their own opinion. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But the part that I was wrong about was I never actually took the time to listen to some of my friends who also had opinions.
Yes.
And I didn't, again, looking inward,
Hmm.
I never even gave them a chance. And are
Hmm.
they still my friends today? No. So you could say that the system did exactly what the system is meant to do. This whole social media thing is so relatively new to humans.
Yes. Stating your opinion, sorry, I have to cut you off,
Go for it.
is not bad.
No, it's not.
Is not bad.
No.
In fact, it's almost perceived that if you state your opinion, you are bad.
It
And
blackballs you from jobs.
it blackballs you from being you,
Yeah. Yeah.
is what it does. And there is this funny thing, regardless of your political views, both people say it happens on either side, but I see it everywhere, everywhere,
Hmm.
where if someone is not you and doesn't have your view, then your opinion is the only one that matters, and they are wrong.
Yeah.
And that's like saying that your God is the only right God when God is as different as every single fingerprint.
Yeah.
And saying my fingerprint is the only right fingerprint. Every other fingerprint that exists isn't real.
Yeah. You're
That's
right.
silly.
It
That's
is.
silly.
It is silly.
But that doesn't mean that your fingerprint, your opinion, isn't as valuable as someone else's that is totally different.
Right.
Totally different. The last time I was triggered was last night.
Okay.
I was uh I had a human design reading. Are you familiar with that by chance?
No, after you get done telling me why you were triggered, you should explain to me what a human design reading is.
I'll tell you now because I think it's relevant to why I was triggered.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
Um, and I'm not an expert on human design, so take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, sure.
But
Sure.
it essentially takes the time you were born, the location you were born, and your birth date,
Okay.
and it uses some spiritual aspects from chakra, uh, Buddhism, and astrology.
I actually have someone on later today that's an expert in this. So
Sweet.
continue on.
You
Continue
can
on.
have him listen to this and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
him or her correct me on everything I'm saying wrong.
Okay.
And it puts together a human design chart. And that is essentially your who you are based on like in subconsciously, right? Your unconscious
Yeah.
you rather than the influential you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of the potential flaws that come from like a disc profile or an enneagram is you're taking a test based on your own perceptions of yourself. which are usually biased or conditioned by other people and accepted as truth without knowing if it's actually true, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's kind of like last time we talked, we were talking about surrendering and how I wanted to surrender, but I needed something to help force that surrender
Yeah,
because me just trying to surrender on my own wasn't working. The human design chart is essentially that who you are at your core before all of the conditioning and before your conscious mind tries to control who you are. And I don't necessarily stake any truth to it or not, but I am interested by it.
yeah,
I don't see it as voodoo or not voodoo, but
right.
I was interested to have mine done, and I had mine human design chart, and I was using Chat GPT to help me understand it. And it was like, dude, it was like spot on.
Was it really?
My emotions are work in waves, right?
Yeah,
I'm not very consistent.
yeah,
I'm I usually have people around me that I ask to do things different than I can do myself. But when I show up with power, but I need a lot of recharge time. I need sunlight. Everything was just like spot on for who I am. And so I had my wife read through this. I'm like, Jana Lee, this is fascinating, you know? And can you read through this and let me know if you think this is accurate?
yeah,
And she went in with this attitude of high skepticism
yeah,
because,
right.
this is astrology. There's no logic really behind it.
Yeah,
And she was like, "Yeah, this is you, but this is you, but yeah, this is totally you, but and I got triggered.
okay.
Like,
Yeah,
Jana, like, can you read this without any perceptions
yeah,
walking into it? Like, who cares where this came from? Does this define me?
yeah,
I shouldn't have told you it was a human design chart. I should have told you it was some. If I would have told her it was an Enneagram thing, she would have been like, "Oh yeah, this is exactly you,"
yeah, yeah.
But I was triggered,
Two
definitely.
two questions off of that. My first question is, do you think that that human design reading that you had received about yourself would read the same 10 years ago that it does today?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that we evolve
Yeah.
as
Right.
humans. Um, but the things in the human design chart seem to be deeper than the evolution that typically occurs. I'm gonna reposition because I'm getting this glare
No problem.
truck. Let's try this maybe. No, let's try that. There
That
we go.
work?
That's
Okay.
better.
All right. I just learned how to edit. I'll cut it out.
Yeah, or let it be raw. You're more refined than me
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah, screw it. We won't cut it out. We're
Yeah.
we're 100% real here.
I mean, you left in us sucking on our thumbs, so
Yeah, yeah. Well,
can't
we
get
can
more crazy than that.
no, no. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like the things in the human design chart are kind of deeper than we evolve as humans as far as like what we do or how we react.
yeah.
For example, like the main thing for me is I can't even remember the term of it, something generator,
Okay.
which is essentially I respond to things and I get my livelihood from response to outside stimuli
Okay.
rather than sitting in a room and thinking about, well, what should I do today or what's my next step in life?
Yeah.
I can't sit in a vacuum and create a business. I need to wait for an opportunity to come across my lap that is outside of me that I can respond to and get really excited about. And that becomes my venture.
Right. My second question,
Go ahead.
will you do it again in 10 years and can you save your notes from today to see if it's different?
It will never be different.
It'll always be the same.
It'll always be the same
Do
because
you
it's based on where you were born, the time you were born, and the day you were born. That will never change.
don't you think though that while that doesn't change, yes, and this might be a question for my friend Rafi that I have on later. Don't you think that, well, yes, that doesn't change, but sometimes the research into these things, the energies, I don't, I'm in over my head when I talk about like the year of Aquarius and Pisces and all that kind of stuff, but we're in a constantly evolving universe where energy is always, there's always a yin and yang, and sometimes there's more yin than yang and vice versa.
Mhm.
So I think it would be kind of an interesting test to see even in 5 years from now, is it the same exact reading? Because yes, those things you're putting in are the exact same, but it seems like everything evolves. Even that wood that's behind you on that cabin, that wood will eventually evolve. If it's never taken care of, let's say it's abandoned for the next 40, 50 years, a tree will grow through the middle of it and nature will then overtake it. Have you seen the picture of those houses out in Detroit, the ones that are
Yeah.
abandoned? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that's where my train of thought is on it, and that's why I'm asking you that question because I just wonder if that's also something that would constantly evolve, and that's also the basis for my first question is would it have read the same thing 10 years ago?
I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't imagine that will be the same in the future. I can't think of anything that is take the Bible, for example.
Yeah.
The doctrines that are stated in the Bible don't align with what we know about the world today.
Mhm.
Take the earth being 10,000 years old.
Yeah.
Like we can place ourselves back into the knowledge and revelations that were received a couple thousand years ago or longer and refuse to progress with the knowledge that we have, which is our right as humans to progress our intelligence
Mhm.
and and state a fact as absolute, or we can understand that we evolve and our knowledge gets better and expands and often contradicts what we thought we knew as fact from the past. It's very common,
Yep.
right? But also equally as common to feel like because we feel like we know right now that it will never change.
Yeah.
And what we perceive as fact right now will always be fact in the future. And that will almost never actually be the case.
Yeah. So how did you talked about the power of now and you talked about why you were triggered last night. So how did you what was your action?
I asked Janalee if she could look at it from an unbiased lens,
Okay.
and that was helpful.
Okay.
But I also did my very best to take some deep breaths and understand that she was looking at it from a different view that I was,
Yeah. Right.
and to be understanding of her. And the biggest thing that helped me through it at the moment was to understand for myself that I didn't need her validation, right?
Right.
I was asking her for hope of validation,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I didn't need it. And
I
so
find
releasing that was helpful.
I find that a lot too. I still, even to now, I constantly seek some sort of validation, whether it's, um, you know, something that I've been really, really focused on for the last 8 weeks since we've been back is exercise and health.
Mhm.
And, I ask people in my circle all the time, here's my progress. And I don't need to, I don't necessarily need to validate with anybody else how my progress is going. It's all, and we talked about this. It's me. Like that's who that's who matters the most is having that relationship with yourself, and you can get your own self validation. But sometimes it is nice to check those boxes because I feel like sometimes if you go all the time without collaborating on an idea or some sort of action, maybe sometimes it helps for somebody else's perspective.
Mm. Yeah, it's true. I'm a believer that the progress doesn't usually matter.
Yeah.
That the progress is typically a result of us being able to stay in our presence longer, right? It's like a rubber band that's being stretched. Health is a perfect example, weight loss, a very visible example, right? In order to go on the journey of weight loss, you have to learn how to be okay with where you're at right then in the moment. You have to.
Mhm.
Otherwise, every time you go to the gym, you're going to burn yourself out and injure yourself and never be able to get the loss that you want.
Yeah.
Right? You have to go to the gym and understand I can't run a marathon right now. I can't. I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I can only walk a mile. And until you can accept that, that that acceptance sets you on the journey that results in the progress. And every day you train yourself to become more and more present and acknowledge where you're at. And you start to become excited with where you're at more than the journey, more than the destination of where you want to be.
Yeah.
And almost is like disappointing. It's interesting. A lot of people who've gone on immense weight loss or mass gain journeys, the result and after the journey, when they achieve their goal, they're almost disappointed when it's done because they learned how to become so in tune with themselves throughout that journey. And the ones that are so destination focused and they're so excited to get there, those are the ones that usually revert the quickest
Uh-oh.
when it's finished.
Well, and if this is me personally, is what I guess I don't have an end goal, and maybe that's good or maybe that's bad. I am doing it for myself, and that's the
Mhm.
first time I've ever done it for myself. Like I want to feel good,
Mhm.
and something as recent as yesterday, I fasted for 24 hours, and then I went on that 12-mile hike, and when I got done, I ate, chicken and some guacamole and some pico de gallo, and I kept it lean, and I feel great, and I'm happy. I woke up with a smile on my face.
Yep.
Woke up thankful. Woke up and I prayed and I said thank you. I said thank you to my body. I said thank you to my knees, thank you to my feet, and fast again, and just maintain maintain myself in a healthy way. So there is a fine line of what you're saying, and I
Yep.
think to anybody that wants to encompass that journey, you have to remember that you're doing it for yourself and not anybody else. And
Yes. Your intention is pure. You want to feel good,
yeah, yeah,
right? Your progress isn't going to be in how you look in a picture.
right,
It's going to be how you feel good longer and longer and longer, the more you're on the journey.
yeah,
And the result will be because you feel good more consistently for a longer time span, right? With less energy
hmm,
attached to it, then you get the body you're looking for, right?
yeah, yeah,
The result isn't you're not looking for the body, you're looking to feel good.
right. And that's something that I think something that I've realized as I've gotten older is if I'm going to eat something, I don't eat it to feel good, or I don't feel good while I eat anymore, but I want to feel good after I eat.
Yeah.
And that means maybe not always eating exactly what tastes good to me, but eating what's going to make me feel good for the rest of the day is what's going to keep me happy and it's going to keep me balanced.
Yeah.
It's
And
very,
what's funny with that is as you feel good after you eat, you will learn to enjoy what you're eating more.
yeah, yeah, you have an
Continue.
appreciation for it.
Yeah, and it will
Yeah,
actually taste better. It will
yeah,
become tasteful because your intention is aligned. It's like money. I hear people all the time talk about how they want to make money, right? I have people
yeah.
who approach me still, right? Who want me to help them with their business. And they're like, can you help me with your business? I'm like, well, what's your intention? I just want to make a buttload of money, right?
Horrible answer.
Great. That is the right answer for a lot of people and for a lot of people to help them, but it's not what I money for me is a byproduct.
It's not sustainable.
Good abs is a byproduct,
Yeah,
right? Weight
yeah,
loss is a byproduct.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
What's really deeper? And a lot of people can't even fathom the concept that there could be anything deeper.
Yeah. That's exactly why I'm pursuing what I'm pursuing right now is I'm pursuing happiness.
Mhm.
And that goes hand in hand with exercise is you're right, abs are a byproduct, shoulders are a byproduct, but inside is the main product. And
Mhm.
that's the spiritual awakening, the happiness. And the health. And it's something that's also evident on the outside. And I would guess to those people that say to you, I just want to make money, is there, while that might be their intention, what they think is their intention, they're, like you said, it's a byproduct, and it probably shows in a lot of different ways. For one being, maybe somebody gets into something that they don't actually love. They just are getting into it because they just love money.
Yeah.
And I'm learning right now, no. Like I made a lot of money in my 20s. I made too much. I made too much for in my mid 20s. I made way too much. It made me more unhappy than I thought I'd ever be. And I thought the more I make, the happier I'll get. That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about at all. When you're able to be free, in my eyes, because freedom is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that overall internal freedom. That's what's going to bring my happiness. And I'll say to anybody that listens to this, chase your dreams. Whatever your dream is, go chase it and don't stop. Because when you get to that point where you maybe have done it for 2 or 3 weeks and you begin to stop because all of a sudden for the next 7 days you start to stall out, where, for instance, like this YouTube channel right now, right? Let's say I get to 20 subscribers and then I'm on 20 subscribers for 6 months. Do I quit? No, because I'm not doing it for the subscribers. I'm doing it because I love it and I love speaking with you guys.
Yeah.
And I do it because I feel like a lot of people need to hear this message. It's so important, and it's also important to have this kind of dialogue that we're having right now.
Yeah.
And anyone that listens to it that disagrees with any of our opinions, that's okay. You
Yep.
don't have to get, upset, angry about it.
It'll be very
Share your opinions. It's cool. Like, we love it. That's the whole point.
exactly. It'll be very tempting for you to have it transition to monetization and subscriber base and number of views and watch time. It will,
Yeah.
right? It's natural. That's natural. It's not bad,
No.
right? And as soon as it does, and if you were to accept that, then it dies,
Yeah.
right? Giving up on this.
Yeah.
But if the intention is pure, what's the byproduct? What's the byproduct of meeting with good people and getting insight for yourself that you can share with others? The byproduct is you'll get more views and subscribers, and
Hmm.
you'll be more motivated to share it.
Yeah.
And when you share it, you'll share it from an energy of beauty and wanting to share and enlighten, rather than this energy of need, of
Yeah.
feed me, I need more views, I need more subscribers.
The byproduct.
Yeah, it's the byproduct.
Yeah.
But once the byproduct becomes the main goal, then the energy shifts. And that is the world that we live in a lot right now,
Yeah.
right? When we go on social media or I watch ads, I can see the energy shift.
Yeah.
And I know when something's real or not real.
Right.
And I'm glad that you're able to keep it real. Journey I'm on. I want to keep it real.
It's all we know at this point. And
Mhm.
we're blessed to have received that gift in a world that is not so real anymore. Your reels are filled with thirst traps and recipes you never use and all sorts of trash. And I would guess that the intentions do not come from an area of purity. Instead, it comes from the byproducts of likes and shares.
Right. But and I don't mean this in any negative way, right? The more majority of people that are on social media or YouTube, the majority are people that are not looking for enlightenment, right? They're looking truly for escape.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative way, right?
No.
But if we're looking for the byproduct of views on that platform or subscribers, the best way to do that is to create content that can help people step away
Yeah.
from what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
which is helping people have higher perception and higher understanding and understand that we are nothing and that it's okay to mock ourselves because we don't know nearly as much as we want to or think that we do right now.
Yeah. I agree with you. I I hate to cut you off at this point. I have to get ready for something coming up.
No worries. I have no
However,
agenda, so yeah,
we talk about quality over quantity. I feel like this was really good quality today.
good.
And we should do it again sometime next week if you're available. And
Yep.
anybody that listens, first of all, thank you. The gratitude is immense. Please like and subscribe. Um, Tyler here is a wonderful resource of knowledge, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you and love you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm actually not very knowledgeable.
I think you are.
Thank you for saying that. It's just fun to connect. That's really all it is for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you for allowing me the opportunity to connect with you even deeper.
We're going to continue this conversation soon because we could go for hours if we had the time. If I had the time, you have the time today. I don't, unfortunately, but I will make time. I will 100% make time for you.
Thanks, dude.
All right, perfect.